I'm Sean. I'm a newly qualified nurse working within a CAMHS inpatient facility. I'm currently doing my honours degree at the University of Abertay in mental health nursing, and I am one of 2 student chairs on a group called the Student Mental Health Nurse Forum Scotland. Today I'm going to be speaking to you about a book that is very useful for all student nurses, newly qualified nurses. The book is called How to Thrive as a Newly Qualified Nurse, and it's by Carol Forde-Johnston. So this is the book here. As you can see on this inside page, it was published in 2019, so last year. So all of the tips and advice is very relevant to now. And for the book review, I'm just going to focus on the contents page and kind of talk about some of the things I've taken from the book without giving too much away. So just a bit about the author. Carol is a registered nurse. She has over 30 years experience working in a busy health board. She currently works as a recruitment and retention lead within this health board, and she does a bit of lecturing, education, like guest speaker slots in different healthcare facilities and universities. So you'll see here chapter 1, choosing and securing your first nursing post. This chapter basically provides you with lots of useful tips on how to choose your first post, like the interview process, potential questions. It provides useful tips like organising informal visits. Then it provides some sort of interview questions. It also makes suggestions on how you might find the perfect first job for yourself. One big factor of that is like support, making sure you have the proper support from your mentor or colleagues as you start. The second chapter is structuring your learning during your first 3 months qualified. So this talks about like when you start, like getting up to speed with your kind of mandatory training on LearnPro and stuff like that, as well as doing your kind of preceptorship or flying start. And then the second section there, how to structure your learning in your first few months qualified. Carol talks about developmental aims, kind of short-term goals, which like it kind of really helped me, provide me with a focus on how to kind of structure my learning, and when I meet up with my mentor or supervisor to kind of make sure I'm on track and developing as a newly qualified practitioner. And then this chapter 3 here talks about the key structures in nursing. So the first section, past structures, that's mainly just a history of what the NHS looked like in the past. Key local and national structures. In terms of local, it talks about private hospitals, private sector, obviously NHS health boards in Scotland or NHS trusts in England. And for national structures, it talks about the NMC, Nursing Midwifery Council, Care Quality Commission, or the NICE, National Institute for Health and Care Excellence. Then it talks about the differences between nursing roles and bands. I found this section very useful because it was interesting to find out what the different roles and responsibilities were expected of band 2 all the way up to band 9. And it talks about in terms of nursing roles and the types of nursing delivery systems, like the 4 nursing systems are clinical, research, educational and specialist. So it talks about the different positions that are available within these different sections or areas of nursing. So you could see there from the first 3 chapters that I'm sure it kind of gave you a taster of what the book and what's included within the book. And a lot of it is predominantly just like information to enhance your understanding of the career, as well as the structures within the NHS or what's expected. And then a lot of it is predominantly like in the title, How to Thrive as a Newly Qualified Nurse. It kind of gives a lot of useful tips and recommendations and advice. And like it would be very useful, like as a first year student nurse, like throughout your journey you can kind of go back to it and kind of check up. It like gives lots of useful tips on working within placements and kind of enhancing your learning experiences, and like seeking out opportunities, like working with other members of the MDT or other healthcare professionals. But I'll show you now what some of the structure looks like of the book. So just for each chapter, it has quotes from different nursing students are different types of nurses in various fields. You'll see it's sectioned up there with different headings. This bit here, questions to help you choose where to apply for your first post. So these kind of prompts you to ask yourself questions which will help kind of narrow your focus. This one here, handy tips to guide your decision when applying for your first post. So it's a very welcoming or appealing kind of box with like information. There's your application, personal statement. Just gonna flick through here one sec. Like band 5 interview questions, that's very helpful. Obviously Carol has done many interviews and kind of prepped students for interviews and kind of has been on the judging panel of all banding, so it's very, very practical tips and helpful. And then at the end here you'll see the references she used for each chapter, and then what to do next. Kind of gives kind of steps on what she would recommend you do. Like this is obviously like choosing and securing your first post, so this is kind of a step by step on what she'd recommend doing if she was in your position. So basically this was just to show you what the layout of the book kind of looks like. She has references at the end, kind of guidance at the end as well, and it's obviously quite appealing with the layout of the book with the different kind of charts or boxes highlighted like that. So as you can tell, I'm not much of a vlogger or a YouTuber, so forgive the kind of the staggeredness or the wishy-washy communication here, but basically, as you could see there's lots of useful practical tips and recommendations from a very experienced individual. It's kind of go-to book. So I'll just sum up the last 3 chapters and then I'll give you a little bit of closing information. So chapter 8 is understanding escalation and incident reporting. What's covered in this chapter is things like reporting incidents or DATEXs, and it really focuses on the importance of providing facts and not opinions when filling out such documentation. It talks about de-escalating challenging situations which would involve distressed patients or patients' families or staff members, like dealing with emergency situations. It also mentions the importance of debriefing afterwards and kind of reflecting on what went well, what went wrong, which is a major part of nursing. And then it also mentions how to deal with a patient's death and a deceased body. So I'd like to think student nurses or newly qualified nurses would be supported by colleagues or mentors, ideally through that experience, but it just provides some advice and guidance on how to manage that properly. Obviously dealing with such a sensitive situation with care and compassion, as well as like looking after yourself and like looking after your own mental well-being and self-care, etc. For chapter 9, structuring your future learning and support. So this book is based around your first year as a newly qualified nurse, and the second last chapter just talks about what to expect over the next few years and onwards, and like proactively structuring your learning and development, just giving advice on how to kind of set short-term, long-term goals and kind of developmental aims as you progress into years 2 and onwards. And then the final chapter is developing your practice or our practice and profession through future nursing research. Talks about the importance of evidence-based practice, of course. Then it gives advice or suggestions on how to fill in applications for research and funding opportunities, and also talks about if you want to get written work published, like academic articles or research. It offers some guidance or advice on how to get work published, which is obviously a very useful skill for your career. So that wraps it up. So once again, apologies for the whistle stop tour or the kind of snappiness of the book review. I just wanted to provide kind of a taster of what's included within the book, and as I said before, it's just lots of helpful information for student nurses, newly qualified nurses. I'm sure everyone involved in this career wants to give their best, and it kind of really helps promote that and helps you achieve that. So regardless of your level, I think a lot of, like, everyone would get something out of this book, and obviously then it would be yours to hang on to, and you can kind of reference it as you start a new placement, or if you're looking to maybe publish some writing, or try secure a grant, or you want to pursue further education or a new role. There's lots of endless information for any type of nurse. There she is now. That's the author, Carol. Carol, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that for most people with the Irish accent. Just here, so you'll see the book. There's a discount code there on Lantern Publishing. Use the code LANPUB30, all in capitals. And then that's the book I was reviewing here. Sorry, where is it? That's the book I was reviewing. And then this is a new one. She just got published this year, which I haven't actually bought yet. But if I receive good feedback, I might consider doing a second book review. But that's for obviously qualified nurses and how to, like, develop and progress through your career. I'd imagine that's like more advanced information and tips. If you were to go for, say, Band 6 interviews, and it's a bit more competitive and things like that. So I'm definitely going to purchase that. I have a few things on my plate, so I won't buy it just yet. So that wraps up the book review. Thank you very much to Carol for giving me permission and providing such a useful book for myself. As I said, I've found it very beneficial. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't. I must apologise for the delay in posting it, and to whoever's viewing it, hopefully you've gained something from it. I know I certainly have. I've learned I have a face for radio. But just in terms of Twitter, like, I would highly recommend getting on that. It's a very useful resource for nursing students and just nurses in general. And if you're on it, sure, you may as well give the Student MHN Forum Scotland a follow, as well as Carol and other useful resources. But anyway, look after yourself, and thanks for watching.